Hey guys, this is Miss Harrington, and we are going to go over this week's Spiral Review homework. So let's go ahead and get started looking at that first column, Monday. We're going to go through your word list for the week. Now remember, these are the words that you are going to use to answer the first 2 rows of questions. So let's go through these words together. I say, you say. Course, bankrupt, aquaplane, corrupt, disrupt, abrupt, hydrogen, precursor, aquatic, corridor. So then we're going to go straight into this first box where you have to tell me which word means to break away from honesty when you have a moment where you're not being completely honest. And out of our words above, the best word to fit that definition is going to be the word corrupt. Moving on to the next box where you have to label the underlined words by their part of speech. She warily gazed out the window after being in the car for 12 hours. So our first word here is warily, and the fact that it ends in ly is a huge clue that this word is going to be an adverb that tells how something is being done. Gazed, meaning like looking out, so that's something you can do, which would make it a verb, an action verb to be more specific. Then we have this word in, which we know in can be used as a preposition, so in the car would be our prepositional phrase. So we're going to label this as a preposition. And then the last word here, 12. 12 tells us how many hours they were in the car, so it's describing, which makes it an adjective. In the next box, we have to correct the sentence by adding commas. Coyotes, camels, and armadillos all live in the desert. Well, this is a sentence where I have a list of items in a series, so I know I'm going to use more than one comma. So there are 1, 2, 3 animals in this list. So if there are 3 items in your list, you need 2 commas. So we're going to place one behind coyotes, one behind camels. All right, with our next box, we have simile or metaphor. What does it mean? So we know similes and metaphors are types of figurative language. Similes compare to unlike things by using like or as. Metaphors will compare to unlike things by saying that something is something else. So our sentences this time say, Jason couldn't find any of the items in our scavenger hunt. He must be as blind as a bat. Well, the fact that I see as being used twice tells me that this is a simile. Now, when we say that he's blind as a bat, well, we know he's not actually blind, and we know that he's not a bat. What we really mean is he can't or couldn't see well. Or maybe even that he wasn't paying very good attention because he should have been able to find those objects in the scavenger hunt. All right, looking at the next box where we are reviewing perfect tense. So remember, this isn't just like regular past, present, and future. We've got those helping verbs that go in front of our action verb that let us know which present tense it is. So we have to decide if the underlined verb phrase is perfect past, perfect present, or perfect future. Before today, I had never seen a venomous snake. Well, the fact that I see the helping verb had being used, that tells me that this is perfect past. All right, so we have another box here where we're having to add a comma to the sentence. So our sentence says, no, I do not want to jump in the freezing pool. Well, we know that if our sentence begins with no or yes, you have to put a comma right behind it. And then the last box where you have to write the meaning of the root words duck or duct. Now these have 3 different meanings depending on the word they're being used in. So it could mean lead, it could also mean take, and also it could mean bring. And that takes care of Monday night. So let's move back up to the top and let's go over Tuesday. So for the first box under Tuesday, you have to give me the words from that Monday list that have a root that means break. Well, with the words in our list, we are looking for words that have the root word rupt, R-U-P-T. So there are 4 words from the list that we're going to add here. So we're going to add the words bankrupt, corrupt, disrupt, ran out of room, and then also the word abrupt. So you should have all 4 words listed in this first box here. Going directly into the next box where you have to choose the word to best complete the sentence. So we're going to have to choose a word from the list above. So our sentence says, I was surprised by the blank change in temperature. So out of the words above, the best word to fill in the blank is going to be abrupt, which is like a sudden, quick change. Which word or phrase best completes the sentence? So we have 3 choices here. As a result, which is a cause and effect clue. Finally, being a transition word, like first, next, then, last, finally. And then similarly, when 2 ideas are related to each other in some way. So our sentences say, I didn't do so well on my reading test. Blank, I studied even harder for the next one. So based on what this sentence says, it seems like a cause and effect situation. This happened, so this happened. So we're going to choose as a result. Which word can mean to rip and could mean a drop of water from the eye? So we have one word here that is spelled the same, and in this case, it's going to be pronounced differently and have 2 different meanings. So when we're talking about a word that can mean rip or a drop of water from the eye, we're going to choose tear or tear. What does the adage proverb mean? So adages and proverbs, as we remember, are a lot like idioms because they're non-literal sayings, but these are meant to give a piece of like wise advice. So our adage says a picture is worth 1,000 words. So what this really is telling us is that pictures can give more emotions sometimes than words can. All right, moving on to the next box where we're going to correct the inappropriate shift in verb tense. So that tells us that in this sentence, there is going to be a shift in verb tense and it's incorrect. It doesn't work. So our sentence says, I went to Jamie's house and jump on the trampoline. So the best way to correct this, since the first verb here is went and it's in past tense, I'm going to take the second verb jump, which right now it's in present tense, and I'm going to make it past tense. So now my sentence will say, I went to Jamie's house and jumped on the trampoline. In the next box, again, we have another comma box where we're going to have to add a comma somewhere in the sentence. So our sentence says, thank you so much, Martha. Well, I'm speaking to Martha. I'm talking to her. So this is what we call direct address. So because her name comes at the end of the sentence, we're going to put a comma before her name. So right after the word much. And then the last box, you have to give me a list of words with the root from Monday, duck or ducked, which we know means, which can mean lead, take, or bring. So here's just a few words I came up with, but again, there are many words you may find with these particular roots in them. So here's just a few. And that's done with Tuesday. So let's go ahead and go back up to the top and we're going to go over Wednesday. So looking at Wednesday, we have which words have a prefix that means water. Now we've seen this before on previous homework. So we're looking for roots like hydra and aqua. So there are 3 words from our list that we're going to write here. So we're going to write the words hydrogen, aquaplane, and aquatic. Going directly to the next box, which word means a chemical element in water? So we're looking above. So out of the three words, the word that is a chemical element in water is going to be the word hydrogen. All right, so with this next box, you have to improve the sentence by either expanding it, combining it, or reducing it. Well, here I see I've got two sentences, so I automatically know I'm going to be combining them. So the sentences say, I ran through the rain, I splashed in the puddles. So to me, the best thing I could do here is make a compound predicate because I'm talking about myself here, right? I see I as the subject, and I did two different things. So what I would say is this: I ran through the rain and splashed in the puddles. Now, because this is a compound predicate and not a compound sentence, I am not going to put a comma in front of and here. All right, so now we're going to rewrite the title using the correct formatting. So we have the title Romeo and Juliet. So this is the title of the entire play, which makes it a larger piece of work. So because it's a larger piece of work, we're going to underline the title. In the next box, we have a dictionary entry for the word alert, and it asks us to circle the pronunciation, how to say the word correctly. So when we look in those dictionary boxes, the pronunciation, number one, is always going to be in parentheses. Number two, it's always going to be right behind the word that we're given the definition for, and most of the time it's going to have kind of a weird looking spelling. So for the pronunciation, I'm going to circle what's right here in parentheses. All right, in the next box, we're going back to perfect tense. So it asks us to complete the sentence with the correct perfect future tense verb. By the time you get ready, my sister blank us here. So my verb is leave. Remember, we've got to make this past tense. We have to add the correct helping verbs to make it perfect future. So we're going to say, by the time you get ready, my sister will have left us here. Next box, we're adding some more commas. So our sentence says, we are still going ice skating, right? So it starts out like it's a declarative sentence, a statement, but then we throw in this quick little question at the end. This is what we call tag questions. So because I have a tag question right here at the end, I'm going to put a comma right before that tag question. And in the last box, we have to write the meaning of the underlined word. So our sentence says, can you please introduce me to everyone at the party? So we're going to try and use context clues, other words in the sentence to help us figure out what this word means. Now for us, this is probably a pretty familiar word for most of us. So when I introduce somebody, I know that I'm bringing into a group. I'm showing you off, or you're meeting other people within the group. All right, and that takes care of Wednesday. So now let's go to our final column and let's go over Thursday's answers. So in this first box, you've got to give me words from that Monday list that have the root run or go. So here we're looking for words that have the root core, like C-O-U-R, or cur, C-U-R, or the root core, C-O-R-R. So we have three words from the Monday list with those roots. So we're going to use the words course, precursor, and the word corridor. Going into the next box, which word best completes the sentence? So again, we're using words from the box above. My bedroom is down the blank and to the left. So we're going to use the word corridor, which is almost like hallway. Where does the comma go? Overall, I had a great time today. So overall is like an introductory element, and my sentence doesn't have to have this for it to make sense. So we're going to put a comma right behind the word overall. Which word could replace the underlined word? And remember, when we are replacing underlined words in sentences, we want to replace them with synonyms because we don't want the meaning of the sentence to change. So our sentence says the librarian has numerous stories to read us. So numerous would mean like a lot, or more than one, more than two. So the best word out of these three choices would be several. Which definition of alert is being used in the sentence? So we're going to have to use this dictionary box from Wednesday night to help us answer this question, because if we notice, there's two different definitions for the word alert. So our sentence says, you should alert your teacher if you're having a problem understanding something. So when I look back at my choices, definition number one means someone who is quick to notice something, like, oh, she is very alert. But definition number two means to warn of a danger or a problem. Well, I see the word problem being used in this sentence. So that tells me definition number two is being used. Complete the sentence using the correct verb tense. This is like subject-verb agreement. I took off my jacket after I blank the house. So would I say I took off my jacket after I enter the house or after I entered the house? The best verb tense here would be the past tense with ed, entered. In the next box, we're adding another comma here. Mom, what time are we leaving? Well, in this sentence, I'm speaking directly to Mom, which is that direct address. So we're going to put a comma right behind Mom's name. And our last box, it says, write the meaning of the underlined word. The store will reduce their prices during the next sale. Well, when we see that word reduce, that means to make something smaller or less. Just like when we reduce sentences on our homework.